Track Record with your hosts Mike Shea and Robert Yetter. Brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
What's up, everyone? It's another episode of Track Record. We thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Robert Yetter.
My name is Mike Shea.
All right, we've got a lovely show for you today. Last week we talked about some stuff that we really love. I gave Mike The Ugly Organ by Cursive, and he gave me The Hymn of a Broken Man by Times of Grace. So today we switched it up a little bit. We decided to do side projects, what we thought was a very good example of a side project album. And I guess that I was a little specific in what I considered a side project, I think.
Well, it's important too, because there's sometimes where an artist will just go do a one-off, just like a passion project, versus like an actual like second band or something like that.
Right. I think this is kind of more like a secondary passion project for me.
Yeah. Well, because one of the ones I considered was an album that was Billie Joe Armstrong from Green Day and Norah Jones doing like folk duo covers, which is more of just hey, let's go do this thing because it's fun, as opposed to some of the ones we're going to talk about today, which is like, hey, I have this band, I have some ideas for other music I want to do, I'm going to go form a second band and make that music for a little while.
True that. Yeah, it's amazing to me, and you'll see this through my review that I do today, but these secondary projects, these passion projects or side projects, they are typically fully endorsed by the record label that the main artist is on, which seems strange to me that they would, it's kind of cool though, because you're like, hey, I want to make other music. It's probably not going to be as well known, but it's still, fully backed by their label and all their marketing tools and everything like that.
Well, to kind of do
it gives it kind of just a head start.
Well, to kind of do a throwback to last week's show, Times of Grace was formed by, current and then former members of Killswitch Engage who were on Roadrunner Records, and the Times of Grace record, A Hymn of a Broken Man, was put out on Roadrunner Records. And I think a lot of that comes from just kind of the way we do things at Eventide is like, you're in the family, we look at this as, hey, this is an opportunity for you to make us more money. So if you can make us more money and put out good music, why would we say no? Also, you look at it as, Killswitch was a band who had made Roadrunner a lot of money over a lot of years at that point. So at that point, it's like, hey, we've written you some very nice checks. You can let us do something fun.
It's pretty much like they let those guys do like whatever they want. Just keep putting out stuff, Yeah. The people will consume.
Yes, we will. We love to consume. We're like locusts in a way.
Yeah. So side projects, right? Let me tell the people, since you're going to go first today, a little bit about what I gave you.
Okay.
And so if everyone listened to the episode last week, they would see that I gave you Team Sleep, a self-titled album. When did that come out? 2004?
Yeah, yes. No, 2005.
2005. So, like, right smack dab in the middle of high school.
I
probably, was just starting to drink.
I had just picked up a guitar at that point.
Yeah. This was probably around the time I was recording my Bright Eyes covers on Sound Recorder with a headset microphone. So Team Sleep, I had always been a huge fan, and this Team Sleep, of course, is the side project of Chino Marino of Deftones fame. That dude he stays just making music. I don't know how he has so much music within his being, and so much different types of music. It's fascinating. But Chino Moreno, Team Sleep, I discovered this. I don't know if it was apart from Deftones or if it was in relation to Deftones, if it was just something that just came along that sounded cool. You know, I was into the whole indie vibe, that kind of stuff back then. You know, and this kind of might have just fell into my lap, you know. But I think it's a really great example of how to put passion into a passion project, which some side projects may not, you know, fulfill that. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see what you think. It's not typically your style. Oh, Mike, I totally forgot. Our beverages. Are you drinking anything?
I am, but nothing fun. I'm drinking water.
Oh.
Well, it's, you know, we're recording this a couple days after Thanksgiving, and my brother was in town from Rock Hill, and so after we were done with festivities this weekend, me and all the brothers went out on the town and just went bar hopping.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still
a little burnt out.
Yeah, I'm not as I was pretty hungover this morning, but I'm still just kind of nursing a bit of a headache. I dozed off in my recliner earlier watching Blade Runner, so I'm just kind of rounding out the night.
Fair enough. Yeah, after last week, I wasn't sure how long it was going to be till I drank again, but apparently this weekend I felt well enough after the crazy 4-day virus.
Man, even the family just took a hit all at once.
Yeah, it was bad. Thought I was gonna die, for real. So did Candace. I don't know how you can vomit that many times and still be living. It's crazy. But so I'm drinking kind of, I guess this is the the womanly side of it. Not to say that they're, you know what, fuck it, it's the womanly side. I'm not gonna skirt around gender crap.
Right.
It's not your mom's strawberry rhubarb. I mean, come on. If any guy would see you drinking that in a bar, he'd be like, "What are you, a fucking chick?" But I saw it. I was like, strawberry rhubarb is my favorite pie. I'm sure that beer tastes like heaven. But to also, just in case that, you know, doesn't grow with the sack enough, I've got, which I've never seen before, Angry Orchard, Orchard's Edge, the Old Fashioned.
I've never heard of that one myself. I've never seen that one before.
It's, I'm guessing it's modeled after the drink in Old Fashioned, and, but it's kind of strange. It's less, bubbly, I guess.
More just like straight cider than...
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess it could be like an old-fashioned cider. But it's like 6.5%, I think. So.
Oh, well, there you go.
Pretty good.
Awesome.
So there you go. Anyway, just a little interjection. Everyone at home, you can play the track record drinking game that we've yet to fully develop, but...
We're working on it.
You know, anytime you see a consistent thing that we do, just drink. Yeah. So yeah, you have Team Sleep.
I do.
By Team Sleep. What did you think, man?
So a little bit of background on this album. The album was put out under Maverick Records. Deftones typically comes out between Maverick, Warner Brothers, and Reprise Records. Maverick is a record label that was started under Time Warner by Madonna, believe it or not.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's cool, but still gross.
The name is actually developed by the three people who developed it, Madonna, Veronica Dashev, and Rick DeMann. So Maverick is Ma, Ver, and Rick. So whatever. It's
clever.
Funny. It's clever. It's funny. But yeah, but that I found really fascinating, considering that, you know, this is a label that was started by Madonna, but it hosts bands like Deftones and Team Sleep. Maverick has also been the home of the Backstreet Boys at one point.
Can't go wrong.
No, you cannot. They're playing in Chicago like in a couple weeks at like a Winterfest or something with Taylor Swift. Story of the year.
Oh, that's gonna be sex right there.
Story of the year was on Maverick at one point. Soundgarden.
Story of the year.
Until the day I die.
Wow.
Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a bunch. But anyway.
Jeez.
So Team Sleep is kind of it's pretty much just the brainchild of Chino Moreno, the front man for Deftones. He's had other guys come in there. DJ Crook was on keyboards at one point. Rick Verrett was the guitarist. Gil Sharon was the drummer. It is important to point out that this is the only full-length album they've ever put out, was this one.
Right.
They did a live album in like 2015, I think. But this is the one they've done. They've kind of come back and played shows, but haven't really put a new music out. So, one of the things I liked about this was the cover art. The artwork for the album was done by Frank Maddox, who has basically been the Deftones' go-to album art guy since White Pony.
There you go.
Which, by the way, White Pony, best Deftones album. I don't care what anybody says. The Team Sleep solo album had one single, which was Ever Foreign Flag. And I didn't recognize the title until I heard the song, and I was like, wait, I know I've heard this song before. Maybe it was because I was getting into music at that time. I don't know. I know I'd heard it before. Some of the things I really liked about the album was the song titles.
Okay.
You have Tomb of Ligeia, which is actually named after an Edgar Allan Poe short story, Ligeia. It actually kind of pays homage to the Vincent Price film of that story that was done. And also,
yeah, Chino's very well read, isn't he?
He is. Like, holy crap. I love that there's a song called King Diamond, just because, why not? So the song titles were all fascinating. Also, there's one called DeLorean, and that is awesome.
Yes.
Because Back to the Future is an amazing movie, and I don't care what anybody says. 2 and 3.
Everyone would agree.
2 and 3, yeah, but number one is good stuff. So yeah, you were right when you said, like, this isn't something that, like, I would typically listen to. And I love Deftones. And I love Crosses, Chino's other side project. But this was something a little off the beaten path. But what's funny is, like I mentioned earlier, like, I was watching Blade Runner. This kind of sounds like the kind of music you'd hear in a Blade Runner-esque movie, a sci-fi noir mystery, kind of dystopian. I would love to see Chino Moreno do the score and sound for like a film, for like a sci-fi film.
Oh,
like
yes.
like the guy. I think who was the one. I forget who did the score for Blade Runner. It was very techno, but not like dance EDM techno. Just a lot of digital sounds, very subtly used. I'd love to see Chino do that, because that's kind of what this reminded me of, was a sci-fi soundtrack.
Yeah.
I found myself getting lost in the song and like the album as it played, but not in the sense that like I was captivated, but more of like it all kind of sounded like just one big song.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a positive or a negative. It's more just an observation.
Gotcha.
Everything was kind of on par with each other. I didn't find, other than Ever Foreign Flag, because I had recognized that one from the radio, there wasn't really any one particular song that stuck out to me because, again, like, there were times where unless I was looking at my phone while it was playing, it didn't hit me that I had started a new song.
Right.
I will say the list of personnel, like everybody who worked on this album, is vast. Like Chino Moreno, wrote all the music. He came up with all the concepts, did all the vocals, all the guitar, most of the guitars, some of the keyboards. But you look at all the people, including Mary Timoni, who did some vocals on Tomb of Legia, and King Diamond, did a wonderful job. Same with Rob Crow, who did some vocals on a couple of songs. But Mary Timoni, I think, was the only one who had like a genuine like vocal solo at one point. I think at the beginning of Tomb of Legia, she has like this really nice intro to the song. But lots of great musicians worked on this one. Again, Rick Verrett, you had Todd Wilkinson on the guitars. You had again, DJ Crook did most of the drum programming and the turntables. Great group of people working on this one. And man, like, the album did really well, commercially and critically. Ultimate Guitar gave it 9 out of 10. Sputnik gave it 4 out of 5. I was really impressed with the writing. Again, you mentioned earlier about how Chino Moreno seems like a really well-read person. And I think that really comes through his grasp of how to utilize language, and from an artistic standpoint really showed in this album.
Right. He's got kind of a similar outlook on lyricism as I do, where it doesn't have to be as straightforward as people may like it,
Right. And there were times listening to this that, again, like, I could hear some of the influence that you had taken from it for your own, for stuff that you had worked on. Especially like having listened to Curios lately. Shameless plug. Always plugging the stuff. So
no shame.
You can, and also, like, because I'm so familiar with Deftones, you can definitely tell that, like, this music was written by somebody in Deftones. There's a little bit of Deftones in every song, because, again, I mean, he's the guy from Deftones. It's going to be there. There's no escaping it. It's just there. So it was, I liked, like I said, I liked what I heard, because it reminded me of so many good things. The Blade Runner soundtrack, the Matrix soundtrack, the Alien soundtrack, stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
But I guess the one thing that kind of pulled me out, that kind of disappointed me a little bit, was just how kind of indistinct each of the songs were to me.
Okay.
Just in terms of, like, I would look down at my phone. Oh, okay, so this is Princeton Review. Okay, cool. And I'd sit there and I'd be listening. I'd be like, man, is this song still going? And I look down and I'm in, like, a completely different song, and it's like, oh shit, I never even noticed. Which I like it when my albums are seamless, but I don't like it when they're so seamless that I can't tell when a new song starts.
Right.
So that was a very small detractor.
Gotcha.
It's not like I'm sitting here kind of going like, well, because of that, this album blows. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. It's more of just a personal nitpicky thing than anything else. Like, most people probably wouldn't notice that. But the production quality was fantastic. Greg Wells was the producer. Greg Wells is an amazing producer. That dude has produced for, Christ, everybody. I mean, Adele, Keith Urban, I know he worked with Weezer. I know he worked with Rascal Flatts. I know he worked with Celine Dion, Aerosmith, OTEP. I mean, this dude just worked with like Elton John, like fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Like Greg Wells is like one of those producers. Like people talk about him in the production world the way people talk about like, you know, Christopher Nolan or Steven Spielberg in like the film world, like someone who like you really want them to have to back your whatever it is you're making. Their name carries some weight. So I dug it though, and especially again, like this came out in 2005. You could have told me this came out last year and I would have believed you. Mm-hmm. It was definitely ahead of, again, I think we've said this about several albums on this show. This was ahead of its time. This isn't what alt rock sounded like in 2005. In 2005, alt rock was Linkin Park. In 2005, alt rock was, you know, Yellow Card, Switchfoot, stuff like that. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Switchfoot.
Switchfoot. Remember Switchfoot, kids? So
we're bringing them all back today.
Yeah, man. So yeah. It was a good album. I really did like it. It kind of has the same go back that I had last week with The Ugly Organ, which is like it was good, but I don't know if I would ever revisit this, like not for a while anyway.
Yeah.
With The Ugly Organ, at least with those guys, I keep saying that like it's the artist name. I'm an idiot anyway. But I would go back and listen to other albums from them.
Right.
I mean, with Team Sleep, all I have is one.
Right.
So for me, I kind of wish they'd put out more so I could hear what else they have to offer. But as far as this one particular album goes, it's like I dug it, but I'm going to have a pretty specific reason to go back and listen to it again.
Yeah, the mood is just has to strike you.
Yeah. And I think, and also, I not to keep referencing Blade Runner, but that's like one of my top 5 favorite movies that I go back and revisit every couple of months because it's a long goddamn movie. And with the sequel having come out a couple months ago, I've been watching it more lately. So I think that kind of helped put me in the mood for this kind of album. Mm-hmm. So
good.
I like it. I want to hear another album from them, though. I know Deftones is back doing their thing. I know they've been doing. I know, like I said, I know they have some of the guys do crosses as well. 2005 is that when Chi Chang had his accident? Do you remember? I don't remember when that was.
No, I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The bass player from Deftones?
Right.
Yeah. I know it's had to be close to that time. So I was kind of wondering, like, maybe the reason they never did more is because of like what went down with Chi and he just kind of, you know, lost focus on it. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to hear another Team Sleep album because this one got me interested, but it's not enough by itself to keep me coming back regularly. If that makes any sense.
Listen to Saturday Night Wrist by Deftones.
Saturday Night Wrist by Deftones. You think that's...
You can catch a little bit of the flavor.
Okay. That's a Deftones album. That's a Deftones album that I own. And, man, I'm trying to think of the last time I actually listened to that one.
See, that was the one that came out in 2007.
Right.
So it was only 2 years after Team Sleep.
Right.
So he still had some of the Team Sleep bug in it.
Yeah, and I remember because Chi had his accident right after that album came out. So we were in about that time frame.
That's when I saw them in for that when they were touring for that album, actually, with Korn. They played a lot of Saturday Night Wrist stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember I told a story where Homeboy from Korn sprayed me.
Oh, that's right.
Lovely, lovely bastard, that guy.
Well, and Saturday Night Wrist is a good Deftones album. It's got the dude from System of a Down is on there, and it's got the one song that's named after the Konami code.
Right.
I'm about to go back and re-listen to that album because, damn, now that I'm thinking about it, like actively, like I think you're right. Holy shit. So yeah, I dug the album, but
all right.
It definitely, like, you need to be in a certain kind of mood to really get into it, I think.
Fair enough, yeah.
So I'm gonna give this one, the couple little nitpicky things I had to say about it, but I really like the fucking song titles. They're really fucking funny and creative. Oh my god, Paris Arm, King Diamond, Staring at the Queen, and then the fucking Edgar Allan Poe one. Everybody knows what a big Poe fan I am. The production quality, the foresight they had with this album, and I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 4.
Okay,
I'll give it a solid 3 out of 4.
That's respect, boy.
Yeah, man. I had fun with it.
Respectable.
I want to hear more Team Sleep is, I guess, my biggest takeaway from this. So
fair enough.
So yeah, 3 out of 4 for the Team Sleep self-titled album from 2005.
Beautiful.
Robert, you got anything else you want to say about this one?
I just want to say that I do agree that you can get lost in it sometimes, and that it really does require just a very specific mood. But it's very well done. It's a side project that was done with passion, great writing, good focus, and we expect nothing less from my boy Chino.
Hell yeah!
So I don't really have anything else to add.
All right, man.
Well done.
Basically, just put Chino Moreno on every album ever from now till the end of time, and it'll be better.
Pretty much, essentially, yeah. Not a bad plan.
No, I mean, maybe don't put him in Metallica. That might get a little weird, but yeah,
no, that won't fit.
Metallica needs to not collab for a while. Oh, is that a burn? I think that was a burn.
That one stings.
All right,
all right, man.
Let's so 3 out of 4 for Team Sleep. Let's take a quick break and listen to some fun little advertisements for some fun things going on. And when we come back, Robert will talk about the side project album that I gave him. So stick around.
There's nothing quite as satisfying as a good conversation with intelligent company. Join comedian Don Smith every week as he sits down and talks with comedians, actors, filmmakers, writers, and everyday schmoes. It's The Life with Don Smith, Wednesdays at noon on 106.9 FM, and now available on the Eventide Entertainment podcast feed every Friday on Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes. Nothing brings people together quite like the movies, and every week Aaron Lopez wants you to join him in a discussion about the latest and greatest in the world of film. So grab a drink, grab some popcorn, and get comfy. Come join Aaron and friends every Thursday at The Drive-In, presented by Eventide Entertainment. There's a reason they call them lazy Sundays. There's nothing better than sitting around and enjoying the comforts of a good book. But what book should that be? Well, every Sunday, Eventide brings you The Bookseller, hosted by Jessica Gillen. Each week, Jessica breaks down a different book and tells you everything you need to know before cracking it open and getting lost in a whole new world. Tune in every Sunday for The Bookseller with Jessica Gillen, brought to you by Eventide Entertainment. Welcome back to Track Record. Had some lovely little announcements from myself and Robert about all the great things going on here at Eventide. Hope you guys loved it. Hope you guys check all that stuff out.
Eventide.
Make sure you guys go to our website, eventideent.com, and go to our Bandcamp store where you can pick up the newest release from Robert's project, Citizen 7, called Curios. It's a collection of productions that were never released between 2011 and 2015, kind of a greatest unsung hits, if you were.
Yeah, well, some of them were released, but all of them are remastered. Some of them were not released.
Okay.
Some of them did a little run on my SoundCloud, kind of under the radar, back when, you would just put stuff on SoundCloud and
Right.
before, it was just like, oh, I made a song, goes on SoundCloud immediately. So everyone go check that out, please. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
A little different side to the Citizen 7 that you may know.
And it's $6. Like,
it is $6. If you go to our Facebook page and you like the post for the release, I'll give you a coupon code for 15% off. Also, if you're feeling frisky, my entire discography, that's 4 releases with Curious, is 15% off. So that's like 4 albums for $17, I think it was.
yeah, you'll spend less than $20 on 4, and like your albums aren't exactly like short.
No, it's 2 full lengths, or 3 full lengths and 1 EP.
Yeah, that's and
$17.
And the full lengths are like 12 to 15 songs each. So you're getting a lot of music for not a lot of money. So
it's a rightly large chunk.
Go check that out. In the meantime, let's delve into the album that I gave Robert for this week's side project episode.
Yes, let us.
I'm a big fan of industrial rock and industrial metal. I loved Wayne Static and Static X. I did a tribute to him on my poetry album that I released a few years ago. And so when we were doing this one, I had a couple different side projects come to mind, but Robert and I had been talking about industrial music for a little bit, that this one felt kind of appropriate, and it kind of sprang to mind. The band is called Device. It is formed from the lead singer of Disturbed, David Draymond, and I will let Robert take it away from there.
Okay, so they had a self-titled album. We got an episode of self-titled's here.
Pretty much.
And this one came out in 2013. So, as you just said, it was formed by David Draymond, along with a gentleman called Gino Leonardo from the band Filter. He spent a little bit of time in the band Filter in their earlier years. And this was formed when Disturbed went on hiatus in 2011. I guess, so the story goes that Gino approached David Draymond to work on a song for one of the Underworld soundtracks. It was kind of, I was reading David's little blurb about it, and he was like, yeah, I was able to turn it into a really great song. It's like, wow, that's pretty okay, David,
good for
you. A little
you.
bit full of yourself, but it's fine, whatever. I was able to turn it around. Just the way that he said it, it was weird to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they worked on the Underworld thing, and their relationship kind of developed from there. Let me just say that I am not a fan of Disturbed, and I am not a fan of Filter. Not for, lack of, them being good or not. It's just I haven't extensively listened to either. So for Device, let's start off with the good. The production is super high quality, and that's really to be expected from Warner Brothers, a big label, and guys with huge names. Just like with Team Sleep, it's a side project, but you've got great people working on it. Great production quality, and the same is true here. And also there was a fair amount of cool features, which I thought was really nice. You've got Serge Tankian from System of a Down, Tom Morello, M. Shadows, So we've kind of like talked about some of those people already this episode, unknowingly. And that's about it with the good.
Wow, really?
All right, let's move to the bad.
Damn, dude.
First and most importantly, David Draymond, the man who loves himself, apparently, a lot. He is in the bad of this record, and he's in the bad of every record that he makes. This guy's one of the most overrated vocalists in music. Everything that he sings pretty much sounds exactly the same. It's got kind of the same cadence to it, same rhythm. It's really weird how he's made so many frickin' songs doing that. It's got the same tone. He hits the same 5 notes. He uses the same cringeworthy melodies. His lyrics are always basic. But the man has some serious star power. And a fucking iconic look. So I give him props for that. Watch out, Gary. Somebody's got star power. Now, when you mash the subpar songwriting with the terrible singing and the run-of-the-mill guitar riffs and the wannabe industrial feel, you just get an album that sounds like shit and is absolutely not fun to listen to. You can tell that they pigeonholed themselves with the genre, and they didn't really let their creativity fly. You know, they came into the studio with this mindset of, we're making an industrial rock, an industrial metal album, and that's what it is. Let's do it. Let's stick to this formula. You know, with that comes a lack of exploration in music, which is a killer for me. Explore. Do not stick to a formula. This album by Device is formulaic and has absolutely no heart, no passion, and I will never endorse, obviously, dispassionate projects like these. I don't want to call it a money grab, because it just doesn't seem like that great to call it a money grab. I don't know if that makes sense. It was just something to like soothe some sort of ego. I don't know. It just didn't feel right. And really the best song that was on the album isn't actually technically on the album, but is a bonus track. And it's also not even written by Device, but rather by Nine Inch Nails, and that's the Wish cover. So that really says it all about this album right there. They have they have one good song, and it's not even included in the regular tracks, and it's not even written by them. So that's really all I have to say. I'm keeping it short this episode. There's not a whole lot to say. I did not enjoy it. I can't get over the hump of his voice. Like, and I realize that I'm pretty much alone here, that Disturbed is probably the most one of the top metal bands in existence ever. Top selling, to be sure. I'm pretty sure everything that they've made has gone number one. For many weeks at a time, but I don't care. I don't care if I'm the black sheep. I don't like it. I don't think that he sings on key. I don't think that his voice mixes well with what he does, especially not with the industrial stuff that they try to do. And when I say industrial, they a couple of the songs had this, a tinny sounding electronic drum. Okay. Cool. Industrial. So I'm going to give this album by Device, self-titled album by Device, 1 purple star out of 4. It's not a complete travesty, but it's not good. Not good. Mike, what's your rebuttal? You got words. Let's hear it.
I mean, it's not great. When Disturbed went on hiatus, I am a Disturbed fan. I do agree that, Jesus Christ, they're overrated. It's like, when I hear Disturbed, my thoughts are always, okay, guys, they're good, but they're not that good. Like, I've seen them live. They are fantastic live. I think their live show is better than their music gives them actual credit for. This to me felt like, just the first time I heard it, all I could think was, okay, so this is like if a Static X cover band did Disturbed covers. Like, it's like I listened to it and I was kind of like, okay, so this is like an industrial it sounds like Disturbed done like with industrial guitar effects. And I like industrial metal and I like Disturbed. And so part of me was kind of like, okay, all right, see what they were going for. But I think that they should have approached a different vocalist.
Yeah, definitely.
Because again, like David, just if you're going to do something this different, and you really want to separate yourself from what you're known for, which is Disturbed, do something different. Don't do the exact same vocal style. I do really like the "Close My Eyes Forever" cover, but again, that's another cover.
Yeah.
I do like that cover a lot, but again, that's also like the original is Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne, and I love the original. I think it does a good job of paying homage to the original while still having a bit of a spin on it. And the female vocalist is Lizzie Hale, and I love Hailstorm unabashedly.
Truth.
I think Lizzie Hale is one of the best female vocalists in rock right now, not of all time, but right now. But again, like, that's another song that, that's a good song. Still not written by them. Whenever I listen to the song Haze, I get a little angry because I am a big Avenged Sevenfold fan. I'm a big M Shadows fan. And I know what that man can do with his voice. And I was just kind of like, this is what you got him to do? Yeah. That dude I've seen Avenged Sevenfold like 4 or 5 times live. I have every album. That dude has an immense amount of power in his voice, and you just kind of get him to do like that. That's what you bring him in to do. It was a lot of. I felt like there was a lot of wasted talent on this album.
Slap in the gooch right there, man.
Yeah. Out of Line with Surge is a weird song. The fact that they have Geezer Butler on that song is just weird to me.
I hated that song because they made Surge do the David Draymond cadence, the way that he sings.
There are times when I've listened to that song, and the first time I heard it, I was like, so which one is Surge?
Right.
Geezer Butler, like, okay, great, cool, you got Geezer Butler on a song, awesome. He didn't do anything, like, noticeable.
Yeah.
And it's Geezer Butler, for fuck's sake. Tom Morello's guitar work on Opinion just kind of gets swallowed in everything else. Cool. You got Glenn Hughes on a song. Again, whoop-de-doo. The guy who everyone forgets was a part of Black Sabbath at one point. Like
So Mike.
Yeah.
Why on earth did you give this to me to listen to?
I wanted
to see me shit on it.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't just me.
Okay, all right.
Is really what it came down to. I was like, or also because I haven't listened to this album. This came out my last year of college when I was still working in radio, so I played stuff off this album a lot because it was fresh and it was relevant and it was popular. and I needed it to fill time because usually my show was a 2-hour radio show. So the first hour was usually like, here's the stuff that's popular because our show played in the dining hall. So here's the stuff that's popular right now. People in the dining hall will get into. And then by the time we got to the second hour of my show, the dining hall was closed. And that's when I got into more of the stuff like fucking Lamb of God and Camelot and stuff that wasn't as like popular and radio friendly, but that was more for like, now this is the good shit.
Yeah.
I would play a lot of the hits and stuff like that in the first hour. So when we were doing this one, I was like, maybe I just got burned out on it because I played it so much for work. Maybe my opinion of it's just bad because, just the way my life has gone in the last 4 years, my tastes have evolved. Just in the few, couple of months we've been doing this show, I feel my tastes have evolved a bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make sure it wasn't just me.
Okay.
You and I have different. We have a lot of similarities in how we look and approach music. We have a lot of differences as well. I wanted to see if this is one of those times where you could maybe talk me into like saying like, oh no, this was actually good and here's why. And I could be like, hey, I never thought of it like that before. In retrospect, I should have just given you the Coheed and Cambria spinoff.
Yeah.
Like we talked about.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is when I go to title this episode, don't put best side project.
No, just say side projects. Don't put best in the title. That's misleading, and we could get sued for false advertising.
Yes. And we will strap you up right by your fucking testicles, and both of us.
Right. So yeah, I mean it's an album where the two best songs are covers.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to.
Isn't that a shame?
It is.
And that's kind of the state of music.
Oh, I know.
Today.
It hurts.
You go anywhere, you go to a coffee shop. When was the last time you saw somebody playing guitar and a singer-songwriter, a singer, guitar player, do an original song? When's the last time you seen that?
Monday nights at Ollie's. When I go to open mic, there's one every week. There's like 4 or 5 guitar players, and usually one of them is writing original music. The rest is, all right, here's Wonderwall. Yeah.
Oh, gag me with Wonderwall.
Well, we did that. There was a night when we were living in Columbia, when we were still doing stuff down there, that you and another musician were down at Songwriters Night at Lucky's in 5 Points. And the two music acts that went on before you guys, they both just played nothing but covers. I'm like, yeah, so Songwriter Night, right? That's why we're here?
Yeah.
Songwriter Night. Those are some of the best live photos I've ever taken in my life. But
hell yeah.
That's the one where I got you like in the dark and it's blue and there's fog.
Oh, yeah.
I'm proud of those. But
it was a good night.
It was a good night, yeah. It was fun. So yeah, for what we picked for next week, just kind of preemptively talking about that, this one I'm at least confident you're definitely going to like.
Okay. Well, I mean, let's jump into it, man.
All right. So for next week's show, yeah. So, by the way, yeah. So 1 out of 4 for this, 3 out of 4 for Team Sleep. It's kind of a mixed bag of a show. But next week we're going to be talking about this one I do want to say, like, what we consider the best concept albums.
The best, top-notch. This is the mother of them all.
I love concept albums. I love the idea of somebody taking an album and telling a story.
Yes.
Like, so I thought this would be a fun one, especially because, this will be the last, this show right now is the last one of November. So next week's show will be the first one of December, and December we're gearing up for something big. We'll talk more about that next week.
Oh shit!
Oh that! So we got that coming for you guys. But yeah, I thought starting off the end of December, because it's December, it's Christmas time. There's lots of stories being told. Let's talk about some music that tells stories, good stories, and does a good job of doing it. So we're going to do concept albums for next week. Robert, what do you have in store for me?
My friend, mine's kind of strange. because it's 4 albums altogether. One was volume 1 and 2, one was volume 3 and 4.
Should we are we issuing a challenge for me to listen to all 4?
I want you to listen to all 4 because
Okay.
they all bring something to the table.
I
And
can expect
they all
that.
complete the set.
I can respect that.
This is The Alchemy Index by Thrice.
Ooh, oh God, I haven't listened to Thrice in years. Oh,
This is,
yeah.
to me, this is the mother of all concept albums. So each volume is about 20-25 minutes.
Okay.
So you've got Fire and Water is volume 1 and 2, and you've got Air and Earth, which is 3 and 4.
I like it.
And each one they recorded in different spaces to get more of the feel of the element. They did a lot of creative stuff for the concepts to really make the music sound like the element. Earth, everything's very stripped down. They use a lot of piano. Air has a lot of very melodic guitars, and it's just, this is Thrice at their best. Aside from the album Vahaisu, which was kind of I think a hidden gem, and our good friend Mitchell would agree with you of melodic rock, melodic alternative rock. I think that though with the Alchemy Index, they grew up so much, from Artist in the Ambulance, that type of, kind of pop punk rock type thing, oh man, this is good stuff. You are going to cream.
I'm excited.
Guaranteed cream.
Well, then since I have no problem with the challenge of listening to all 4 discs whatsoever. I welcome it. I think that'll be a lot of fun, and it makes me feel a little less bad about what I was going to do to you for next week, because I'm giving you 2 albums that are part of the same concept, and I'm also so freaking happy because I finally get to introduce you to this band the right way. This is Camelot.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
This is Camelot.
I haven't been able to find any of their CDs anywhere.
It's good fucking
the
luck.
little tab is always empty. It's like,
well, dude,
there's the name sitting there, but it's always fucking empty.
There's a fucking reason. So what I'm giving you is it's 2 albums. It's part 1 and part 2 of a concept, and the concept is of Goethe's Faust, the story of Faust.
Yes, I've read that in German, actually.
Oh, have you?
Natively, yeah.
So you're going to enjoy this. So part 1, album number 1 is called Epica.
Huh.
And album number 2 is called The Black Halo. Now, the album Epica is where the band Epica gets their name from.
Oh, my God. Can't get any more creamy than that.
You're going to uncover so much goodness in these 2 albums, Epica and The Black Halo, parts 1 and 2 of Faust by Camelot. There are going to be orgasms that the neighbors are going to hear coming out of your apartment over the course of the next week. And I am so fucking happy I finally get to introduce you to Camelot properly, the way I was introduced to Camelot with these 2 albums.
Good.
I'm going to
I'll look forward to it.
Fuck your ears in a good way. In preparation for hopefully the show we'll be going to next year, hopefully.
Ooh. When is that?
Oh, fuck. I don't remember. But it's Camelot with Delane and I think Battle Beast.
Okay.
So we're going to...
I do remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. So we're going to have some great conversations next week. You're going to love the fuck out of these 2 albums. I haven't listened to Thrice in years, so I can't wait to listen to the Alchemy Index. Because that's one that completely bypassed me, apparently. So...
Oh man,
this is gonna be good. I'm so excited. I want it to be next week already.
It's like Christmas.
Oh, fuck yeah. Getting there. Fucking getting there, man.
The Christmas season is upon us.
Damn right it is. All right, so...
Unless you're dirty, rotten atheists like we are.
Yeah, it's true. I still celebrate fucking Christmas, man. It's a good...
Yeah, true. It's all about family, man.
For me, yeah, it actually fucking is. For most people out there, it's not. But I think for you and me, it's kind of what it comes down to, is I just like spending time with my family.
Go spend time with your family, eat some food.
Yeah.
Like, you don't got to worry about the Jesus stuff.
Well, even like the presents and stuff. Mom's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, "What do I want, or what do I think you could get me?" Because what I want is like an Ernie Ball Stingray 5-string bass. What you could get me is new bass strings.
I made this ultimate list, this ultimate wish list on Amazon. How you make the lists?
Oh yeah.
And there's about 2 things on that list that are below $300, and that list is like 20 things strong.
Oh, man.
We'll see. I told my dad, like, if you get me something from this list, like, you're insane. Like, just find a way to, like, visit me or something next month, and then I'll be happy.
No shit.
But anyway.
All right.
Well, good stuff, man. I look forward to that.
I do too. It should be a lot more enjoyable than this week's episode, which was half enjoyable.
Halfway there. A half chub.
We're getting there. Yeah. It was an angry fuck.
Yeah, yeah. With a whiskey dick.
Oh.
Next week will be a tequila penis all the way, long and strong, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that being said, Robert, I think we have a show.
I believe so.
And we are going to now depart and go listen. We're going to go listen to a fuck ton of music over the course of the next week. So,
yes, we will.
We're going to get right to it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. Again, make sure you go check out eventident.bandcamp.com for all the great music we have for you guys there that you can download and listen to and make a podcast of your own. Oh,
critique our stuff and be like, you can shit all over our faces.
No shit. And you can do it for cheap. It's not going to cost you that much money.
That's right.
And check out all the other great podcasts we have going on this week. Tomorrow we're going to have the Drive-In with Aaron Lopez. We'll have the rebroadcast of The Life on Friday. And then we got our great weekend lineup with Saltwater Gaming and The Bookseller finally returning. Jess is finally feeling better. She, man, you think you got sick. She got hit hard.
I got sick.
Yeah.
But it sounds like she had it bad, man.
Yeah. Glad to finally be back now that everybody is back in full swing after the holidays. So we'll be back again next week with you guys. And until then, stay tuned and we'll see you then.
Farewell.